That's right. Nala's in the house. Nala's back. She hasn't started a live video for about 5 months. But it's good to have her back again. You know, it just feels right. It just feels strange without having Nala in the live videos. But she's with us again. But yeah, we often talk about the typical signs that you will see from the narcissist when you have hurt them. And I'm sure many of you've watched so many videos already, and you're tired of hearing about the same signs over and over again. So you may be wanting to know some more subtle signs, maybe signs that you might have missed, maybe signs that you may have picked up on, but no one's really ever talked about it before. And you know, that's what I'd like to start getting into more often. It's things that people don't always notice. And you know, I do have one playlist already on the narcissist mode of behavior, which talks about some more subtle signs, some more subtle tactics that many people don't talk about. Because yeah, I think it's important to talk about these things that many of you may not be aware of, or you just haven't been validated in your experience. So you may not be sure that what you're seeing is even real. But yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about in this video, is these lesser known specific behaviors that show you've emotionally wounded a narcissist. So let's get into it. And if you'd like to help support our community and help other people to become aware of these lesser known signs, you can help in just a second by giving the video a thumbs up, because it helps a lot. It helps the YouTube algorithm, and then more people will become aware of this information. So let's get into the first one. What is the first weird sign that you have hurt a narcissist? It's when they mock things that they once admired about you. And this isn't just devaluation. I mean, we're talking about things that initially attracted them to you. I mean, it was the reason why they got around you. It was what they initially liked about you, such as your goals, talents, style. Suddenly becomes weird, cringe, or fake. They no longer like these things about you. The very things that drew them to you. And, you know, let's get a bit deeper into it. Let's talk about, why does this happen? I mean, how could it happen that they like these things about you, and then they're suddenly mocking you for those very things? Those very characteristics, qualities, quirks, mannerisms. Suddenly they're making fun of these things. Of course, it can be very confusing. Why would they suddenly turn against it? Why would they suddenly not like it? Why would it suddenly become a problem when it was initially what made you magnetic? The simple reason is they targeted you not so much because they admired you, not because they really appreciated you and wanted to encourage or support you. It's more that they envied you. They wanted to take what was yours for themselves. They wanted that to become a part of them. And when they realized that they couldn't have it, then they just wanted to destroy those things in you. Because it's the only reason why they got around you is because, yeah, they like certain things about you. But they weren't thinking about continuing to having to like those things as a separate part of you. No, they wanted to fuse, blend with you. They wanted you to become one in a perfect union where they could then strip you of all of those qualities, characteristics, your talents, your style. They wanted to take all that and incorporate it into a part of themselves. As many of them do. As many of them may have done to you. And then they just give you their waste. They disown the parts of themselves that they don't like and assign them to you, while they take all of the best parts of you. Everything that made you attractive, desirable. Everything that initially drew them to you. So essentially they consume you. They devour you and strip you of all of your wonderful qualities, nutrients, and then they just give you the waste, the leftover, what they don't need. And that's typically the parts of themselves that they don't want to keep, that they don't think that anyone would want. That's what they dump onto you. But yeah, you know, when they can't take what they envied about you, then they just want to destroy it. So they try and make you feel like it's nothing, like what you have isn't that great, what's something wrong with it, and you need to change, you need to be molded into something else now. Really, it's because they are hurt by your wonderful qualities, by everything they wish they could be, by everything that could never be theirs. And so their mocking is a petty attempt to regain superiority over you. Number 2, a weird sign that you have hurt a narcissist is when they randomly unfollow or block you, then refollow you. So they do this because they want to trigger a reaction. They want to make you feel discarded. They want to make you feel like you're nothing, you're not wanted. Or they may also want to control your access to them. But they keep checking back on you because they're still wounded. Now, this may happen sometimes if you've confronted them on something, or if you've set a boundary. As I said, you know, they want to fuse with you. They want you to become one entity as they then consume, devour you. But if you don't let them do that, if you set a boundary, if you create separation, distance, or even you just acknowledging who you are and celebrating your qualities, your worth, then it makes them feel separate. They're left alone with themselves and they feel like they're not enough on their own. So then they want to separate themselves. They don't want to be left hanging on, clinging to you. If you set a boundary or if you're recognizing who you are, now that's when they want to individuate. That's when they want to widen the gap between you and them. Because otherwise, that's going to affect them. So that's what you see is when they do separate, when they do distance themselves from you, when they randomly unfollow or block you and they disappear, it's because they experienced a failed acquisition, a failed takeover. So they fail to acquire, fail to conquer you. And then they're left feeling like a failure, feeling like they're not good enough to achieve that. And that's why they then unfollow or block you. That's why they then distance themselves from you, because that then makes them feel better. But then the problem is they can't sustain it. They can't feel better on their own. So they then continue checking back on you. They then follow you again. They message you again. Because they're trying to use you again to regulate their emotions. So that's the second weird sign that you have hurt a narcissist, is when they randomly unfollow or block you, then refollow. Which I know confuses a lot of you. But yeah, just take note of that, play it back. Remind yourself of it any time that they do it. Then it will make more sense to you. You will begin to understand why they do it. The third weird sign that you have hurt a narcissist are passive-aggressive story posts. So they won't mention you directly. But what they will do is they will post vague posts like, some people are so fake, or real ones know who they are. So they're not specifically mentioning you, but it is indirectly aimed at you. It's trying to say something about you. It's trying to make you feel like something is wrong with you. You're not good enough. You're bad for some reason. Because they want to make you feel small. They want to make you feel how they feel. And so that's what these passive-aggressive story posts are designed to do. They won't contact you directly because they don't want to resolve anything. Even if you could make something better for them, they won't let you do it. Because even then, it's not going to make them feel better. It's just going to remind them how much better you are than them. Because you have the ability to do that. You have the ability to make them feel better, and they're the ones who are dependent on you for your reactions. So they're not going to give you the opportunity to make things better for them. Because they know even then, I mean, it's always going to be too little too late for a narcissist. When they want something, they want it in the moment. When they don't get it, they become resentful. They hold a grudge. And to some extent, I get it, you know, if people are kept waiting for a long time and then they finally show up and it's like, you know, the moment's gone. it was needed before. But, you know, that's what narcissists do a lot. But then we have to consider, for us as victims, I mean, you know, we're being abused, and narcissists expect you to be like a psychic. They expect you to read their minds, to know exactly what they want, whenever they want it. And if you don't perform it exactly how they need it to be, then in their minds they feel like they're unworthy, they're not good enough, or you've wronged them in some way. And yeah, they hold a grudge, you know, they won't give you the opportunity to make things better. Or even if it's just you setting a boundary, confronting them, exposing them on their behavior, calling them out, then this becomes a problem to them. But remember, you know, we're talking about people who need excessive attention and admiration. Of course, if you're in a relationship, you've got to attend to the other person. You've got to validate them sometimes, and you know, you should compliment them on the things that they do. But with a narcissist, it is excessive. It's all the time. And it just wears you out. Because also, they don't reciprocate back to you. They don't do anything for you in return. And they expect you to just sacrifice your life for them until you can't do it anymore. And once they've drained the life out of you, once they've ran you into the ground, then they'll go and make these passive-aggressive story posts, as though you're not good enough, as though you couldn't do enough for them. And it's like, hold on, what about everything you did before? But then in their minds, it's like, oh, yeah, that was before. What about now? But then what about them? Why haven't they done anything for you in return since everything that you did before? Instead, they still got their hands out, expecting more from you. So, yeah, you've got to understand these things. You know, when you see these passive-aggressive posts, you've got to remind yourself of everything you did for them and how much you got back in return. Remember all of those times that provoked you? Remember all of those sleepless nights? Remember all of those times they disappeared? You need to remind yourself of all of these things so that you then know that, you know, what they're doing isn't right. These passive-aggressive story posts, indirectly saying these things about you. And this is why, you know, they often won't directly communicate with you, because they know if they do, you're going to confront them. You're going to expose them on things that they've done before, on things that maybe didn't add up to you. And they don't want to be confronted or exposed. And maybe just the thought that you know these things, that you are aware of it, makes them feel insecure. And that's why they're trying to establish some level of influence or control over your mind, over your thoughts, feelings, actions, by creating these passive-aggressive story posts. Because just your individuality, your separate existence, your free thinking becomes a threat to them. It exposes them, and they don't like it. So yeah, if you have hurt a narcissist, expect this weird sign. Expect to see the passive-aggressive story posts. If you're finding this video helpful so far, and if you are enjoying the revelation of these weird signs, give it a thumbs up. Let's work together to get this important information out there. The fourth weird sign that you have hurt a narcissist is when they copy your words or content with a spiteful twist. So they may repeat things that you have said, but they will do it in a way where it is sarcastic or twisted. So it's their way of saying that you don't get to define the narrative. And this is really, when they feel threatened, when they feel exposed, when they feel like you're onto them. They don't like it, but you are beginning to figure them out. They don't like it that you are challenging them. So they want to take the heat off of themselves. They want to relieve the pressure by putting it onto you, mocking the things that you have said, mocking your content. Because otherwise, if they were to take it seriously, if they were to genuinely entertain it, they would then have to take accountability for their actions, and they would have to face consequences and make changes. So this is why they act all silly. This is why they become sarcastic. And they mock the things that you said. They mock your content. This is why they do that, because they want to take the pressure off of themselves. Because it's resurfacing their shame, which they are trying to hide or suppress. The fifth weird sign that you have hurt a narcissist is when they suddenly act extra close to someone you dislike. And this could be an ex, a friend that you fell out with, or someone who they know triggers you. So when they do this, this is a calculated move, and it is designed to sting you. It is deliberate. They want to make you feel uncomfortable. So they align with someone who you don't like, or someone who has hurt you, someone who has done something that you didn't like, to then make you feel like they're with them now. They're on their side. So this other person now has support from someone who really should be supporting you. And it's kind of like a form of betrayal. Because if they're really with you, then they shouldn't be with the opposition. They shouldn't be on the opposing side. But this is what many narcissists will do, and it is a strategic move. The sixth sign that you have hurt a narcissist is the fake vulnerability and then retaliation. So they will pretend to open up to you just to reel you in, and then they will twist the conversation, guilt trip you, or emotionally punish you if you don't respond how they want. So it's really just to pull you into something that you don't want to be a part of, and that they're not revealing to you initially. So they're giving you a false impression, a deceptive outward appearance, by pretending as though they are being vulnerable. They can be intimate, emotional, just so that they can then twist it around on you and make you feel like there's something wrong with you because you didn't submit. You didn't do what they want you to do, respond how they wanted you to. And it's to make you feel like, no, actually, you're just not worthy of their vulnerability. You're not worthy of them opening up to you, because you're not responding how they want you to respond. And this is it. A lot of times with narcissists is that they don't really care about you. They don't really care about who you are. They don't care about who anyone is. All they care about is molding people into who they want them to be. And what do they want them to be? A doormat. Someone they could just walk all over. Someone who they can train to be their pet, their slave. And that's really it. They don't respect or even acknowledge your own separate identity, your own separate existence. You're just an extension of them. You're just someone who exists to go along with their agenda. All under the guise of vulnerability, intimacy. And that's really it. That's why they drag people into these relationships, is because they just want an extension of themselves. They want something to validate their own omnipotence, power, desirability. And that's all that it really gets. We just are reflections of that. And that's really our possession, our purpose in their lives. The seventh sign that you have hurt a narcissist, the seventh weird sign, is when they change their personality or style to one-up you. So you may switch careers, you may go to the gym, work out, get fit, or you may go no contact. And now suddenly they are in that lifestyle, they are into that lifestyle too. So they're into the same thing as you now. They're getting into that same career. They're going to the gym too. You go no contact, they're going no contact. They're going the opposite way now. You're in a new relationship, they're in a new relationship. You got a new car, they got a new car. Just copying, mimicking. They're doing the exact same thing as you now. Or a similar thing. They're changing their personality or style in the same direction as you. And it's not because they're growing. You may adopt a healthier lifestyle. You may be more interested in spirituality, religion, whatever it may be. And now suddenly they're doing it. But it's not because they're growing. It's because of their envy. They are competing with you. They're trying to outdo you, surpass you. And that's what they try and do in everything, because they're very envious, they're very insecure. So they're trying to top you. And it's really because they just feel like they're not good enough by themselves. So now they have to adopt your personality, your style, your interests. And it's really just another passive-aggressive move. It's just another weird sign that you have hurt them. Because otherwise, if they weren't hurt, if they weren't affected, they're not going to suddenly switch up what they're doing in that way and move it in the direction that you're going. They're doing that out of pain because they don't feel good about themselves. The eighth weird sign that you have hurt a narcissist are weird, overly formal or robotic messages. So they might suddenly message you in a tone that's cold, overly polite, or robotic, stripped of emotion. And it's really just a passive-aggressive dig, signaling to you that you don't matter anymore. Because before, they used to be more vulnerable, they used to be more emotional with you. And now they're no longer giving that to you. They're no longer sharing that side of themselves with you. And, not that you're really missing out on anything, because it's all fake anyway. It's all just manipulation. It's all just a move to keep you under their control. But they do have the ability to at least pretend like they're opening up, to pretend to be vulnerable and emotionally intimate with you. They have the ability to pretend to do that, and yet they're not doing that anymore. And instead they're acting in a very weird, robotic, cold, distant way. And it's really just designed to hurt you. It's designed to make you feel insignificant. Because they are hurt. They feel inadequate. They feel like they're not good enough. So now that's how they want to make you feel. They want to project their emotional state onto you. And yeah, they do that by going cold, distant, cutting themselves off emotionally, acting robotic towards you. But sometimes, this is something they do anyway. If they've got a new supply in their sights, they will become more cold and distant. Because they're only pretending to be emotional and into you when there's something in it for them, when they believe that they're going to get something out of it. So they may just act that way anyway. But yeah, it's a sign that you have hurt them. When they cut that side of themselves off from you, when they turn away from you, when they seem to act more indifferent, cold, distant, it's because they're hurt. They're hurt by you setting a boundary, not giving them access to something. It's made them feel inadequate. It's resurfaced their shame because they're very arrogant. They have a grandiose sense of entitlement where they feel like they're deserving of anything. And they really have this mindset that if they're really worthy, if they're really good enough, then you should just completely submit to them. You should be their doormat. You should let them just walk all over you, disrespect you. This is the belief that they have in their minds, that if they are something desirable, then you should just let them do that. This is how they think. And this is how they look at other relationship dynamics as well, even though that may not even be the case with them. But they will pick something out, they will pick something apart. They may see something online, on social media, in a movie, and they will see it as though someone got some power over someone got someone to submit to them in some sort of way. Someone had the advantage, the upper hand. Someone walked all over someone dominated them. And it just fuels their sense of grandiosity and entitlement, to where they think they should just get to steamroll right over you. It's how they see it. This is really how they think. And there's certain triggers, certain things that just get inside of their heads and just trigger certain emotions, to where they suddenly feel like they should have complete power and control over you. And you should be their puppet. Because they just feel like that's what should happen. If they matter, if they mean something, if they are attractive, desirable, then they should get to dominate you completely. And if you don't let them do that, if you don't respond to them in the way that they want, if it's not like they say jump and you say how high, then it translates in their minds that something is wrong with them. They're not good enough. And they see that as a personal attack on them. When you set a boundary, when you distance yourself, when you just focus on yourself or your own life, even for a moment, it translates to them in the narcissist minds that they are not good enough. They are inadequate because they don't have complete control over you, like you're their doormat. They can't have their way with you. So essentially, it's like you're just not allowed to care about yourself. You're not allowed to do the things that you want to do. And essentially, it's like they have to be your child, your baby. And whenever they have a need, you have to jump and be there for them. You have to sacrifice your life for them. You have to let them essentially destroy you, mentally, emotionally, weaken you with their demands, as though you are their parent. And, this is nothing against children or babies, but I'm sure those of you who are parents, you know what it's like, having to wake up in the middle of the night for the needs, for the demands of your newborn child. And, we understand that. It's acceptable from babies, of course, because they can't take care of themselves. But when it comes to a grown adult acting that way, expecting you to submit to them and to cater to their every whim, and that if you don't do that, then something is wrong with them, they're inadequate. It really is the mentality of a child. This is how children think, and this is how children should think. It's just naturally wired into us as humans when we're young. But then as we get older, we should mature. We should develop an understanding that other people also have their own needs and have to take care of themselves. And we should have some level of respect to see that, they don't want to be walked all over. They don't want to be dominated. They don't want to be completely controlled by another person. We're meant to develop to some degree to understand that. But for the narcissist, because they haven't developed emotionally, it still translates to them as a personal attack on who they are. And they take it as though they're not good enough, they're not desirable enough. And they see it as though you are attacking them. And you're not giving them the treatment that they are entitled to, because they're so wonderful in their minds. And yeah, you know, they really get triggered by certain things. Like it could be something they've seen on social media. It could be something in a movie. I mean, it could be anything. It could be, just an example, you know, it could be something where it's like, maybe some guy met a girl and, you know, they went out on a few dates. Or then maybe he showed up at her house with like a Ferrari or something with a ribbon on it. Like just as a gift. Another narcissist has seen this, has triggered them emotionally. It's triggered their delusions of grandiosity. I know they're coming to you, expecting you to empty your bank balance, forget about your food, forget about your rent, whatever you have to pay, and just empty it all out for them. And if you don't do that, then that's a personal attack on them. And it means that they're not desirable. Because you're meant to treat them like a child. You're meant to sacrifice everything for them. This is how they think. And if you don't do that, then they get resentful. They hold a grudge. And they see it as though, you know, if you're not going to let them walk all over you, that you're not entitled to their emotional responses. You're not entitled to their vulnerability. And so they just then take that away from you and they become robotic, indifferent, apathy. And again, you know, it's this passive aggression. And, you know, some narcissists, they may be so delusional, so unaware that they may think that you are playing a game with them. So many of them, they may try and out-manipulate you. They may play a game right back with you by withholding from you, because they see it as though you are withholding from them an abundance of your time, energy, complete submission. And, you know, that's how it is, and that's how it should be. You should always be withholding certain amounts of yourself, certain amounts of your time, your energy, your money from people. You should always be doing that. And anyone who doesn't let you do that clearly doesn't respect you. Because you need to have some energy for yourself. You need to have some time for yourself, some money to take care of yourself. But to them, they see it as though if you don't just give them everything and just leave yourself to die, then that means that you don't care about them enough, or that they're not desirable enough. That's how they take it. And it's completely delusional. And really it shows that they don't take your needs into consideration. They don't really care about you. But yeah, this is what they do. And this is just another reason of how they're so easily hurt. It's so easy to get under a narcissist's skin and to make them hold a grudge. Just because, you know, they lack empathy. They don't take your feelings and needs into consideration. They don't consider how you need to take care of you. And, you know, that's why so many of us, coaches and therapists, we talk about how at some point we have to go no contact. We have to cut them off. And that we've got to practice self-care. Just as psychologist Ross Rosenberg mentions, becoming self-love abundant. Because clearly, you know, for us to sacrifice ourselves for another person, to give up all of our time, energy, our money, It reveals that maybe we didn't love ourselves enough. And maybe we were looking for someone else to give that to us. For someone else to give to us the love that we did not give to ourselves. And it's not that we didn't have love to give to ourselves. It's just that we externalized it and gave it to them. So yeah, the lesson is to pull that back inwards. And, clearly they saw a lot of value in you. They tagged you out of envy. So you need to start seeing that value in you. You need to start seeing everything that they saw in you. And so much more, because, what they saw in you, it was superficial anyway. It was just things that existed on the surface. Your money, power, beauty, status. And I know it goes so much deeper for you. There's so much more to you. But sometimes, it can help to acknowledge these superficial things as well, because they undermine that. And, if you worked hard, why shouldn't you get to feel wealthy, successful? Why shouldn't you get to feel beautiful? So yeah, acknowledge your success, acknowledge your beauty. Don't let them undermine these things about you. Just because it's superficial, it doesn't mean that it doesn't matter or it's not worth anything. There's still some value to it. But then also recognize that outside of their perspective, it also goes much deeper. And there is so much more to you. And that's an important thing to remember, because, so many people in the world today, they really just base their worth off of possessions or achievements. And these things just become an extension of themselves. And it's like a car or a house. And sometimes even people's friends or even their children, it all just becomes an extension of their worth or of their status. And this can happen to so many people, even those who aren't narcissists, because it's just the culture that we live in today. And we've got to pull that back inwards and just forget about all of the distractions and just recognize our own inherent worth from within. And this is why I can help to read out positive affirmations to yourself every day. I did do a positive affirmations video about a month ago. You should definitely check that out. And even just saying affirmations like, I am worthy. I am enough. Just saying these affirmations every day can really help. It can rewire your mind after everything you've been through with this narcissist. And yeah, we are worthy. We are enough. Not because of our job, not because of our car. It's not that I am worthy, I am enough because I have a certain amount of money. Of course not. I mean, think about it. Even just if you just say that out loud, just think about how ridiculous that sounds. But this is how many of us have been trained to think. And it should never be that way. Never externalize your worth. Yes, appreciate these things. Don't take that for granted. Of course not. We should appreciate the value in the things that we have and the people that we have in our lives. But never think that you are valuable or worthy simply because you have these things or these connections. Make it more about you. Recognize your worth from within. You get to define yourself. You get to recognize your own worth. And nobody can do that for you. They can try, but it's never going to be the same. I can tell you that you are worthy. I can tell you that you are enough. But it's going to mean so much more coming from you. You giving yourself that message. But yeah, this is what these narcissists do. This is what they're like, and it is strange, it is weird. But this is what they do. 8 weird signs that you have hurt the narcissist. 1, they mock things they once admired about you. 2, randomly unfollowing or blocking you, then refollowing. 3, passive-aggressive story posts. 4, copying your words or content with a spiteful twist. 5, suddenly acting extra close to someone you dislike. 6, fake vulnerability, then retaliation. 7, changing their personality or style to one-up you. 8, weird, overly formal or robotic messages. These are the 8 lesser-known signs that you have hurt a narcissist. Please give this video a thumbs up if you have found it helpful so far. And let me know if you've got any questions in the live chat. I will read them out and respond to them. Got Nala hiding under here. You know, of course, I see so many cats on my travels. I saw many cats in the Philippines. As you may have seen that I posted on my Instagram. But it's amazing, you know, even though cats different to us, they're animals. I find that no 2 cats are the same. And no cat was ever like my Nala. No cat ever had the same personality. They can never give that same feeling, that same connection. And of course, you know, you could argue that that could be built over time, but you know, it's just, it feels like every cat is different. Like no 2 cats are the same. But yeah, you know, it's good to be back with Nala. It just feels right to have her back here with me. And of course, you know, even though I've been without her now for about 5 months, she still immediately remembers me. Of course, she will never forget me. I mean, I had her since she was 8 weeks old, and now in a couple of months, she's going to be 8 years old. But yeah, she's definitely made my life feel more meaningful. I just couldn't imagine my life without Nala. It would just feel empty. It would just feel like something is missing. And of course, she's provided so much support to me when I'm making these videos, doing my work. She's always there just to keep me calm, relieve my anxiety, my stress. And yet at the same time, she's not requiring excessive amount of attention. So she's not anxious and she's not avoidant. She's very secure. Like, she likes her own space. But then sometimes, she likes to be close to me. And that's what I really like about cats. So let's take a look at what people are saying in the live chats. I see a lot of messages being deleted. A lot of trolls coming in today. I mean, it may be because, I just got to Malaysia early this morning. And I know, it's much quieter here. There's not so many distractions like it is in the Philippines. So they may be trying to get more into the live chats, but I haven't been reading it too much until now. So it didn't really distract me. Lorraine Diane says, cutting his ex's grass while I sat there waiting for him. Can't believe they expect you to put up with this crap. That's an interesting one, because I hear different people say, and even ex-narcissists, I've heard them say that, they've had good relationships with their exes and they still talk to them. And they will talk to them even when they're in a relationship. To me, it's not something I could accept. It doesn't seem right to me for someone to be in a relationship and still be talking to their exes, doing things for them, especially while you're having to wait. That's my personal opinion on it. This is something that people should be aware of at the beginning of the relationship. Is this person still talking to their exes? Is the ex going to be a part of the relationship? But of course, as we know, narcissists, they won't reveal that to you. And then the ex just pops up in the middle of the relationship. And it's like you're in a relationship with 3 people. It should just be 2. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with you not liking that. I mean, I wouldn't like that either. I can't say that I would enjoy waiting for someone I'm in a relationship with while they're cutting their ex's grass. Yeah, let's remember, you know, it's not all women, it's, yeah, you know, maybe a lot of women, maybe a lot of men as well. And, you know, we have to remember that not all women are bad. And, you know, even those women who aren't entirely bad, it doesn't mean that they're entirely perfect. We all have flaws, you know, we all do things wrong. And we have to remember that. And it's the same thing with men. Yes, there may be what we call good men, but that doesn't mean that they're perfect. That doesn't mean that they don't mess up sometimes. And it's really up to you to decide, you know, is it a deal breaker for you? Is it something that you're not willing to tolerate or accept? And especially if there's deception, lies, betrayal. But, you know, from what I've learned and from what I've experienced is that most people, given the opportunity, they will betray you for their own personal self-interest. They will throw you under the bus. Most people will do that. Most people will lie to you, deceive you, if it means that they can get what they want. Most people will be more short-term focused, and they're not so focused on loyalty, devotion. And I find it really sad, but in my experience, I find that that's how it is. And I'm sure many of you may feel the same way. And I know that many of you who watch my videos, you are the type of person who is more self-sacrificing. You are more loyal, devoted. You're more willing to give up on your needs to satisfy someone else. So you are the opposite of those types of people. And I know that. Because I know, you know, this is why the narcissist targeted you, because that's what they're looking for. But I would say that most people aren't like that. We Love Sound says, when you give out and nothing comes back, it can feel like what you're giving has no value. What a trick. Yeah, it can feel that way. If the other person doesn't acknowledge it, but that's just it, you know. Just because it doesn't do anything for them, it doesn't mean it has no value. It may just speak of their emptiness, their void, their inability to appreciate it. It's kind of like an animal. I mean, you could spend I don't really like this analogy because I'm a vegan. I don't really like talking about these things, but it is a good analogy. It makes good sense. So you could spend an entire hour cooking up a steak, give it to a dog, and they'll just wolf it down. And it may seem like it didn't really have much value to the dog. Like you could have just given them anything, and they would have had the same response to it. But that doesn't mean that it had no value. I mean, to me personally, a steak doesn't have any value anyway. I mean, it's kind of relative. But what you gave to the narcissist, I mean, it isn't really relative. It is in some ways because, while it would be valuable to other people, it's not valuable to them. So what this really comes down to is different values. They don't value the same things as we do. What matters to us doesn't matter to them. So they're not really human like we are. They're more like animals. They're in survival mode. They have survival instincts which overrides any gratitude or genuine appreciation for you. So that's important to remember. Just because they don't fully value or appreciate you, it doesn't mean that you're not valuable or what you gave wasn't valuable. Like it says in the Bible, cast not your pearls into swine. John Tracy says, giggling people around you 24/7 tells you everything you need to know what you're dealing with. Yeah, it does. I mean, if people are deliberately coming around you just to giggle, it may mean that they're mocking you and that they don't want to take you seriously. Because if they were to take you seriously and to see you as credible, that may then discredit them. That may then make them feel threatened or insecure. And that's why they may not give you the proper respect that you deserve. Lorraine Diane says, I used to say, what about my feelings? He'd say, what about my feelings? That's all I get. Yeah, that's their mentality, is you worrying about your feelings, your needs. They see it as though that takes away from them. This is how they run us into the ground. This is how they just don't even care about us, and they don't want us to care about ourselves. It's because they feel very jealous, even if you just attended to yourself. They see it as though that's taking something away from them. And this is why they dominate all of your time. They want to have full control over you and getting you running on this hamster wheel, endlessly trying to please them, to the point where you lose your sense of self, you lose your self-awareness, because they don't want you to attend to yourself. They get jealous. They feel like that's taking something away from them. And so you then end up struggling to sustain yourself And then they then turn against you and blame you, say that you're not good enough. When it's like, no, they just made it all about themselves. But yeah. I'm just back in this condo again, where I was before. Not much of a view from this side. Some sides of it have got a nice view. But I went to this one because it's quite a spacious room. And me, you know, I don't really need a big room. It's not really that important to me. But I know, you know, for Nala, there's plenty of room for her to run around. Because even at her age now, she's still a very active cat. So she likes to move around a lot. So, yeah, it's quite a bit of space for her. But yeah, it was quite expensive, you know, to get this condo with a gym and a pool as well. So, I'm really working hard on the videos. And I'm just trying to put out my best content. Try and bring in the views. And that helps me to make even better videos then. Because, of course, if I make good videos, then I get more revenue. And then I have more to invest back into the channel. Where I can then make videos in a bigger room like this. I've got more room to walk around. And traveling as well. I can do videos in different locations. And also, you know, I'm hoping that at some point in the future, I can upgrade my equipment. Because I'm still using this microphone here. It's actually a broken microphone that I've had for, it's gotta be about 4 years. I've been making videos with this microphone for 4 years. My laptop is about 3 years old. And my iPhone's about 2.5 years old. But yeah, a lot of my content is, my equipment is very old, and also the footage that I use in my videos, I haven't actually got a stock footage subscription because that is quite expensive as well. But it would make all the difference. It would definitely improve the quality of my content. And of course, at this point, I mean, you know, I used to have an operations manager, a video editor. And now it's just me doing everything by myself. So, yeah, I'm trying to put out the best content that I can. Bring in the revenue, more to invest back into the channel. I mean, at this point, I've already invested so much money into my work, into my equipment, the travel costs. But you know, I often look back and I see that my work has helped so many people. And yeah, it definitely feels good for me when I do earn the revenue and, you know, I invest it back into my passion, my purpose, and what I know is helping people. So yeah. But this is where I will be doing my work for the next month. I will be sitting in this space, recording and editing the videos with Nala. And I'm looking forward to it, you know, I do enjoy the process behind the production of the videos. But yeah, I enjoyed sharing this video with you. I'd just like to thank you all for joining me. And if you would like to show your support to my work, you can give it a thumbs up. You can also donate by going to paypal.me/Narc Survivor. I appreciate all donations, no matter how small. Subscribe, click all notifications so that you will be notified when I go live again or when I upload a new video. If you would like guidance or support your healing journey, you can book a one-on-one with me today by going to narcsurvivor.co.uk. And you can follow me on my Instagram as well. It is Narc Survivor YouTube. You can see the links down below in the live chat. But yeah, that's it for today. From me and Nala. She's just resting down by there. All right, thank you all. And I will talk to you in another one very soon.